Hi, this is Gus Olson, and I've been meeting and flirting with women in real life for 11 years. And recently, one of my friends asked me, "Hey Gus, I see you doing all these difficult approaches with groups, with multiple girls, with multiple guys in conversation, and I'm just wondering, how are you able to do these very difficult approaches? Were you born like that? Was it that you found some secret method on how to deal with fear? How can I do the same?" Because essentially for him, he had been doing real life approaches for a while, but he still had the anxiety of going up to large groups or going up to groups or just people in general that were able to listen to his conversation. And in this video, I'll talk about how to get over that. And if you're one of those guys that are able to do some kind of real life approaches, but you're only able to do the easiest ones or specific ones where, for example, a girl is walking alone. So how are you able to go from that to doing very, very difficult real life approaches? So here's what I asked my friend: how much do you feel like you're pushing yourself every time you go out? And initially he said, well, of course I'm pushing myself a lot because this is real life approaches and real life approaches are very difficult. And I said, yeah, okay, that is fair. However, you've been doing this for a while. So how much do you feel like you're pushing yourself now outside the comfort zone? And when he was honest with himself, he really thought about it, and he realized that he wasn't really pushing himself anymore. Because yes, initially, once you start doing real life approaches, it's very difficult. And even just to talk to a girl, even just to talk to any stranger, it's extremely difficult. But of course, once you start doing this for a while, you can get to a level where you can do this pretty easily. Not necessarily pretty easily, but you can do this. And then you get into this comfort zone because you can do real life approaches, which is way more than most people can do on their own and can do it themselves. But you're not able to do these other approaches where, for example, people are around in a busy bus stop, or there are friends around, guy friends around, and then you start coasting. And what happens when you start coasting is that your growth plateaus, or even worse, you actually start going down because you're not pushing yourself anymore. And in the end, you can only approach girls that are single on their own, they seem in a good mood, and you're limiting yourself massively because that's a very small sample set of women that are going to be on their own, walking very slowly, in a good mood, smiling, the sun is going to be shining. You're not going to have all these conditions. So you need to be able to push yourself and do more. And the way I have done this, and what I told him, is that even now, after 11 years of doing this, I still keep pushing myself. I still do very, very difficult approaches. Every day I have a rule that I need to do an approach that makes me extremely, well, maybe not extremely, but that makes me slightly nervous, slightly uncomfortable. And this is something that I've had for many years, and this is why I'm able to push myself more and more and more and more, because I keep doing very, very difficult approaches and I keep pushing myself. And it's the same as a gym. It's the same as a social gym. In a gym, if you lift weights, but you don't add the more weights, and you don't feel that pain, you don't feel that burn, well, you're going to stop growing. And hence the biggest rule for the gym is that you got to feel the burn. You have to keep pushing. Even if you're big, if you want to get bigger, you got to keep pushing. Otherwise, you're just going to plateau, or the muscles are going to go down. And this is just like a social gym. You got to keep pushing yourself. You got to add that weight, and you add the weight by doing more and more difficult approaches. And this is how, after many months and years, then you can do these crazy things, which for a lot of people seem crazy, and you can approach a girl with her guy friends. There's nothing crazy about it. It's just that I, step by step, kept pushing myself, and now I'm able to do this. But if you have started doing real life approaches, that's obviously the great first step, but don't sit on your laurels for too long, because if you do, then you will not be able to progress, and you will most likely regress, and then you'll end up like a lot of guys end up doing this for many years, and they're still not getting that great of results, and they're plateauing, and then they eventually quit because they don't find the results they want. So treat this as a real gym. It is a gym, it is a social gym, and you need to keep pushing yourself. And obviously, if you want to keep pushing yourself with someone who knows what they're doing, who gives you a plan, who can hold you accountable while you do all these things, and that can give you feedback, just like in a physical gym, you can do these real life approaches with a trainer. You can also do this with a trainer with a social gym, with real life approaches once you're talking to girls. And if you'd like me to be your trainer, this is what I do with students all over the world. We keep pushing each other. We have a private community, and I work with all of them pretty much on one-on-one. So if this sounds interesting to you, check out the link in the first description, and I'll talk to you soon.